Hi, everyone. Good morning. Welcome back to TV5 News at 9. It's time now for Legally Speaking with Buckfire Law Firm. Joining us this morning is attorney Bob Lancey. Hi there, Bob. Thank you so much for calling in.
Good morning, Ashlyn. Thanks for having me.
Yes. So today we're talking about Michigan's new no-fault laws. So just to kind of kick things off, what exactly is the new law? What does that mean for folks?
Well, that's a great question, Ashlyn, and I'm not sure how much time we have this morning to discuss this, but let me break it down into this. So when you're in an accident in the state of Michigan, there's really two aspects of cases that lawyers get involved in. And on the one hand, we have PIP, personal injury protection benefits, or no-fault benefits. Have the third-party case, or a case that you might, or someone might make against the at-fault driver, the person who hurts them. And so what Michigan has done in the recent past, and most of the changes took effect 2019, and now some just took effect on July 1st. There's going to be some others that take effect next year, but not necessarily important for our discussion today. But really what's happened is that the legislature has changed how much each of us is required to have for PIP, or no-fault benefits. And the no-fault benefits cover things like medical expenses, your care at home if you should be injured, and they also changed what we're required to have for liability coverage. Liability coverage is what each of us has to have in the event that we are at fault for an accident. And so liability coverage, since about 1970, used to require that we each have a maximum or a minimum of $20,000. It was basically $20,000 per person, or $40,000 per accident in the event that we hurt someone else. They've now raised that minimum to $50,000, $100,000. And on the PIP side of things, in the past, all of us had what we call unlimited PIP benefits. If you were involved in an accident and seriously injured, your medical expenses and other benefits were covered for the rest of your life. Now what the legislature has said is that, well, you don't have to have the unlimited benefits anymore. Now you can reduce those benefits to $500,000, $250,000, $50,000, or none at all, depending on your circumstances. And so those are the biggest changes that would affect your viewers.
Well, it seems like there's a lot to unpack here. And speaking of numbers, I'm sure folks are wanting to know, how much will drivers be saving on their auto insurance premiums?
Right. So, that's a thought that most people would have in mind is, well, how much money am I going to save, by these new changes? And really it's minimal. So the changes that have been made are this: if you continue to have your unlimited no-fault benefits, and I can tell you and your viewers that myself and what I'm recommending to all of my family and friends is that they continue to have the unlimited no-fault or PIP benefits. In that circumstance, the insurance carriers have been required to reduce their premiums by 10%. Now, if you select a $500,000 maximum PIP or no-fault coverage, you can reduce your benefits as much as 20%. If you go with the $250,000 max, it's a 35% savings. And so really what that means is the savings is only based upon how much you were paying for the PIP or the no-fault coverage. So assuming that you pay $400 a year on your PIP or your no-fault coverage, if you stick with your unlimited, your savings is going to be 10%, or $40. And if you reduce it to the $500,000 limit, now you're saving 20% on just that PIP portion of your bill, which would be a savings or a yearly savings of $80. So that's an example, but of course, I would encourage each of your viewers to reach out to their auto insurance agents to determine exactly what their savings might be. And again, for me, I'm going to stick with the unlimited benefits. That's what I'm recommending to all of my family and friends. And what that does is it gives you the comfort to know that if you are seriously injured, the auto insurance carrier has to cover you for the rest of your life.
All right, thank you for that. And just listening to what you're saying, it seems that, it's a smaller cost, but less coverage. So what does that mean for someone who does get into an accident, who may be worried?
Right, so here's how this really impacts people. And so, if I was to be involved in a car accident, and I had selected, let's say, a $250,000 max HIPAA benefit. If I am involved in an accident and my medical expenses exceed that amount, at some point at that $250,000 point, the auto carrier no longer pays any of my medical expenses. At that point, you're required to seek payment of your medical expenses from the at-fault driver. The only problem with that is that, as I just mentioned, the at-fault drivers, they can reduce their liability coverage to $50,000. So if your medical expenses, now exceed your coverage by $100,000, there's going to be a disconnect or, a lack of funds to pay even for your medical expenses. Not even getting into the aspect of pain and suffering that are involved in the third-party aspects of a claim.
Well, now the immediate question that comes after that: how do we know if our medical insurance coordinates with our auto policy?
Right. So coordination. I guess the first thing that you want to do and the viewers want to do is reach out to your insurance agent and ask them directly, does my auto insurance policy coordinate with my medical insurance policy? And what that means is, if you have a coordinated auto insurance policy, that means that your auto insurance company gets to push off any medical expenses to your health insurance carrier. If it is uncoordinated, then your auto insurance pays first. And it's important to understand whether your health insurance pays first or whether your auto insurance pays first, again, to understand what kind of coverage you should have on your own policy.
Well, perfect. Now we get into specifics. What would be your recommendation if someone were to get in an accident or suffered any type of injury?
Right. So, the first thing that we always recommend is, to speak to me, to speak to one of the attorneys in our office, to find out what your rights are. The sooner the better. We have always found that the sooner that we're involved in an investigation, the better outcome that our clients have. And we help out with both aspects of the claim. We help out with the pain and suffering aspect of the claim, as well as the PIP or no fault side of things. And our clients are always appreciative of that fact, because sometimes that PIP or no fault side of things, the side that relates to coverage of medical expenses, that can be complicated. And if clients haven't ever been through this process, they're always appreciative of how we handle that aspect of the case, as well as the pain and suffering aspect. We've been in business handling cases for clients for more than 50 years, and we do it with integrity.
Great information. Thank you so much for carving out some time this morning. Great to have you here.
Thank you, Ashlyn.
And then if you would like more information, you guys at home, head on over to the Hot Link section. Just go to WNEM.com.